meeting to order. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, recognize all state honorees for choir band. Oops, I'm in the wrong meeting. I tend to do that here. Okay, let me get out of here. Sorry. You're good. Well, let me go back to that picture. There it is. Now, honorees of the children's choir. Wrong choir, sorry.
That's okay, thank you. Before I introduce the girls, I just wanted to explain a little bit about their audition process because it's different than the middle school and the high school. For the Children's All-State, we are told based on our enrollment how many can audition. And so we can all, where with the middle school and the high school, anybody who wants to audition can choose to audition. So we can only audition 7 kids based on our enrollment. And this year we had 4 students make it, which is wonderful. And I looked at the list, and the only schools that that had 1 or 2 more than we did were 6A schools that feed into 6A high schools. So I think that's a testament to the talent that we have here at Bethany. So I do want to introduce them to you. I have 3 of my 4 here. We had 2 5th graders and 2 6th graders. So my 5th graders were Lila Toller and Arden Schlegel. Stand up and wave, ladies. And the 6th grader is Grace Wright and also Amy Wickersham, who is at ballet. Put a lot of work in, and I'm really, really proud of them. So that's great. Thank you for letting us take them.
You put a lot of work into it.
Yeah.
She does. She does.
Thank you. We continue to see just the talent at the very early ages, and what you do all the way from first grade all the way up builds to that, and then builds to what we see and hear about all the time, about all the success we have at the high school. So I know the future is bright, but congratulations, and man, just to have so many represented from a 4A school is, again, just a tribute, and thank you guys so much for representing Bethany in the way that you do. So we're very, very proud of you guys. Let's give another big round of applause.
Item 4, recognize teacher of the year for each school.
Okay, you want to start elementary?
Absolutely.
All right, Mrs. Allen, come on up here. Mrs. Allen is our 24-25 teacher of the year. She has been at our elementary school for 3 years, and even in her just short time here, she has been such an asset to our team. She has been intentional in developing relationships with the students and their parents, which is evident in any meeting, anytime there are interactions. You can just tell that there is such a love there between her students and her families, but then also her staff. Like the colleagues who she works with, they see her dedication. This year we actually adjusted programs to better support our student needs, and she was willing to step in. And the amount of nominations she had is very evident of how her colleagues see her passion for our students. And it's truly about this flexibility to support what's best for kids. And so we are so honored to have her represent our school this year.
Congratulations.
Okay, for the middle school, Mrs. Toller. So up until this point, she's been famous in the elementary. So she was going to try something new and something challenging. And when you want to do a challenge, middle school is where you want to go. So she was worried about that the whole summer, and she would text back and forth with me. And I'm like, "You're going to do great." And she has come in and just shown us that, you know what? First grade, 6th grade, they're about the same. They need the same types of things. And so she's been wonderful. She meets with the kids. She's looking at what their needs are. What are you anxious about when you're moving into the middle school? What can we help you with? And she's taken those, and she's already making plans for next year. And just the way that she has come in and changed our 6th grade team and bringing all the new ideas and the positivity has been wonderful. And so she's been a great asset to our middle school.
Congratulations.
What?
It's a taller kind of night.
That's right.
Hello, Miss McCann. Well, I have the pleasure of introducing Miss McCann. She is our high school teacher of the year for 24-25. A couple things about Miss McCann. This is her 4th year here. She does art, and art is one of those requirements that you have to have. And so she has all the way kids that don't necessarily want to be in art, and then she has the kids that are all the way up there in AP art. And when I say her classroom is unique and special, it would be an understatement. She is an amazing teacher, a better colleague, and even a greater person in general. I've got to know her really well over the last 2 years. She comes in, she meets in here every day with about 15 or so teachers meeting here. They call themselves the lunch bunch, and they solve the world's problems. And McCann comes in, and then she tells me, like, hey, listen, here's something I think we can work on. And I say, golly, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Let's try it, let's do it. She's always willing to do something unique and cool. What you don't know is the behind the scenes. She also does our yearbook. She also does our marquee. She also does all the signs and the TVs in the commons area. Anything I ask her to do, she does. And without even a question. And sometimes she asks me if she can do it. And I appreciate her willingness to try something and help our school be the best it can be. I mean, I say it to her, not as much as I should, but I say thank you for being who you are. It's amazing. She's a good one.
So I will say, I know, there's some interviews and district teacher of the year process going on right now, and look forward to hearing those results. But what a tough choice that we have. And we have just an amazing staff, and obviously Bethany is a place that attracts the best of the best teachers, and we take pride in that. So to be able to represent your buildings amongst those great teachers is a tribute as well. But man, I don't think they could have selected better people to do that for each building this year. And thank you so much for being that representative and just for everything you do for your buildings each day. Again, thank you very much. Now, you guys are welcome to stay and listen to the rest of the meeting, but if you would rather not, we understand that too. So you guys are welcome to depart if you would like. Thank you so much for letting us honor you tonight.
Yes, and letting the conferences, so.
You guys are missing out on a lot of fun.
Thank you. Congrats. Congrats, girls.
Thank you. Absolutely.
See ya. I'm great.
Front row.
Is it A student? Is that
Right?
That feels actually.
Item 5, consent agenda. 5A, discussion of possible board action to approve minutes of the regular meeting held on February 11, 2025. Minutes of a special meeting held on February 11, 2025. B is discussion of possible action to approve the district's capacity of students in each grade at each school site as presented. Item C is discussion of possible action to approve the following contracts agreements for fiscal year 25. A, Bledsoe Hewitt Gulkson and Certified Public Accountants, PLLLP, contract for financial audit for Bethany Public Schools for 24-25 school year. B, SWAT Inflatables contract. C, Candid Color Photography for prom. D, MOU with Oklahoma Christian University from February 24 until December of 26. 5D, discussion of possible action to approve the following contracts and agreements for fiscal year 26. A, Cox Commercial Internet Services. B, United Systems E-Rate contract. 5E, discussion possible action to approve the following out-of-town, out-of-state overnight trips. A, girls basketball, Oklahoma, March 6th through 8th, 2025. Boys basketball, Mulligan, Oklahoma, March 6th through 8th, 2025. C, Stephanie Kirkpatrick, OKSPRA Conference, Bartlesville, Oklahoma, April 15th through the 17th, 2025. D, School Nurse Conference in Austin, Texas, June 25th through the 29th. E, Boys Golf, Ardmore, Oklahoma, April 27th, 2025. F, Boys Golf, Woodward, Oklahoma, April 20th through the 21st, 2025. G Boys Golf Regional Golf Tournament, April 29th through the 30th, 2025. H Boys Golf State Tournament, Ardmore, Oklahoma, May 11th through the 13th, 2025. Girls Golf Sulphur, Oklahoma, April 25th through the 27th, 2025. J Girls Golf Regional Tournament, April 22nd to the 23rd, 2025. And K Boys Golf Retreat, Sulphur, Oklahoma, May 2nd through the 4th, 2025. Is that all the consents? Let's see. Nope, one more. Two more. 5F, approve the additions to the following activity funds. One is Cancer Fund Drive and multilingual program. And the last one is approve the financial funds reports.
These are all part of the consent agenda, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Just as a comment, the conference that Mr. Kirkpatrick will be attending, I found that to be intriguing. I look forward to hearing how that goes and strategies that we can incorporate here at Bethany. I just thought that was intriguing to see. Excited about that.
Yeah, she's done a lot. You know, she went last summer to Seattle with Miss Tovar. You know, we've grown a lot in our social media presence, and she's done a lot with that. And every time she goes to one of these things, she comes back and she has more knowledge and adds something to it. And so it is exciting, and she has done a really good job. You know, she didn't know anything about it, and she's come in and she's learned a lot and set up a lot of things. So we do think she went a couple weeks ago during the day. It's interesting, the communications people kind of have a group and they meet monthly, and it was local, and she was able to go to that meeting, and she came back and heard a lot of different things just about communications in general and crisis, and you know, when things are really good, and so she's learned a lot, and she is bringing a lot back, and I'm excited to hear what she'll bring back this time. She always brings something back, so it's been really good. I think it's been really good. So
Absolutely.
she's learning a lot.
Good.
And a lot of districts have that kind of as a sole position. She does it in addition to other jobs, as all of our
Yeah, she
web people
does
do.
a lot.
But man, you wouldn't know it, you know.
If there aren't any other questions, I'll do the financial fund report. So we have an ending balance on activity fund of $572,369. We're getting to the point of the year where we're paying out a lot of invoices, so it's a little bit less than it has been. The activity accounts are well. You'll see, like for Cancer Fund, it's got a negative 3152. They're gearing up, and they're gonna have a lot more money coming in, but they needed some things to get started up, so that'll clear up pretty quickly. In fact, it may clear up as we get some deposits in already, since I printed this report. On our function summary report, the big number on there is we have $290,000 left to encumber. We're gonna start closing some stuff out. We've already started closing some stuff out. I'm hoping that between now and the next board meeting, we get enough closed out. We don't do an amended budget, but and we can carry through with this 290, but we'll just kind of see where it is. We won't have to go back to the excise board because we're not going to exceed our estimate of needs. We just need to up our school budget here. So that's good. Looking good. We've had a lot of revenue come in that is good. And then on the general fund tracking sheet, revenue, a really exciting report. If you see on the 1300 earnings interest, a few months ago, 6 months ago, in fact, we put about $3.5 million in a CD earning a 4.8% interest rate, which we hadn't been doing. And so we are showing right now with all that interest, the CD just matured. We have interest earnings of $167,000. There's a little bit more from just the general from our other accounts. But in comparison, last year at this time, we had $87,000 in interest earnings. So we're way up. We've done really well with that, and we've re-upped the CD for a similar rate. So
Can I pause you there real quick?
Yeah.
I want to give her a little bit more credit there, because the options that we originally received were at a much lower rate, and she is a savvy negotiator and just asks the right questions to get a little bit better situation, much better situation, I would say. So that you're seeing is a tribute to her and how she manages her
And that
business.
CD is held where?
It's at First Bethany.
First Bethany, okay.
Yeah.
So a good partner.
Yeah, they are. So, then our collections are just coming in. I really wish motor vehicle and gross production would get there and finish out, but they will by the time the end of the year comes. We don't have any new federal funding that's come in, other than some child nutrition funding. We're working on those claims. The State Department is difficult as ever with federal programs. So to give you an update on that, we have submitted an amended budget for our consolidated app for Title I and some of our neglected funds, and we amended our budget to pay for things that they sent me an allowable list, and the things are on the allowable list, and they sent it back and told me they weren't allowable. So we're negotiating their list that says it's allowable, and they're telling me it's not allowable right now. So, but we have it in writing, so that's always good.
And what are you checking? Which one is this?
So it's our federal funds. So on the tracking sheet, it's gonna be the 4210 disadvantaged students 518.
Yeah.
So the 4210, 511, 518, the 4271, and the 4442 on this list are all one application, one giant application together. And when you have to make an amendment for one, you pull all, the amendment is for the entire application even though you're working on one of those projects. And so right now we're working on an amendment to the budget to 518, and they had an allowables list, and they told me, they sent it to me. I have it in email from the person that does the reviewing. We submitted our application. They've sent it back and said it was the things we put on there were unallowable, and I've sent it back again and emailed them and said, here's your list, and you say these things are allowable.
So that's like 511, 518?
Yeah.
So of the on 511, we've only collected 35,000, and we wanted 210.
And we'll get the full 210 before the year's
You're
out.
sure?
But we're stalled. Oh yeah,
That's it.
we'll get it. It'll be a
Yeah.
painful process, but we will get it. It's we will definitely 100% get it. It's just a painful process to get it.
Okay.
They make it pretty. It's a painful process. It's a difficult. They'll send it back several times, but just an update on why you're not seeing some collections coming in. We're kind of in a holding pattern on it, but as the end of the year approaches, they get a little bit more pep in their step. So, next I'll bring it to you every month until we finish out. When I ran the report, our projected carryover has gone up since the last time, just because we've posted some of the interest earnings revenue. So we're up to about a $4.5 million carryover, and in our plan, we're going to try to hit $4 million. We have a very strategic plan, and $4 million is my number. You're gonna see some purchase orders come across for some HVAC units that we did an RFP for. There's going to be a purchase order come across for one of the parking lots, and some technology type things. And then depending on how we finish out, we did a retention stipend last year in July for the staff, and we'll probably do one of those, and that should get us to about that $4 million mark. We have some desks. We have a lot of desks that haven't been replaced, Mr. Jewell told me, since 1997. So my goal is the $4 million mark. That'll put us in a really good spot. So
Those are vintage.
And the parking lot is the
Signature.
west side of the
That one
district.
over here.
Yeah, over there where we kind of have
Yeah.
some issues anyways. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So that is kind of an update on that and where we're at. We do have a plan for everything, and so far it's going to plan. So, any questions for me?
Yeah, quick question before we approve the consent agenda on 5F. I understand item 1, the cancer drive bunk cakes, but why do we have a fundraiser for the WIDA? Just curious about
Okay,
that. What's that all about?
It's not a fundraiser for WIDA. It's a donation. It says a fundraiser request, but how we have to approve that and put in the book for the auditor, it's being called a fundraiser request. But what they're saying is we're collecting donations. So they did a project, and we're getting donations back from WIDA for whatever testing they did, and we need a paper saying that account is going to receive donations. And so that's what we're requesting, is that account can receive donations. It's very strange, but
Yeah, it's
We're
a great
not
question.
taking
It's a great
donations to
question.
pay for the weed
no,
test.
no.
Okay.
This is
Great
so
question.
we
They
can
pay
take
that.
donations.
$4 million.
Yeah, no, it's so we can take.
I don't know.
No, it's a great,
It's
great
so
catch.
so they can receive donations for their multilingual
Okay.
account. Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Thanks for the clarification.
That's a good question.
Yep.
I have a question on 5D.
Okay.
These are just our standard every year contracts that we do, just renewals. Were there any like large changes to them, or?
Cox and United Systems.
Mhm.
Yeah, so a portion of the E-rate budget we get will help offset kind of our yearly fees to United Systems. So that we just have to kind of re-up that and competitively bid that each year, but they came back by far the lowest on that. And then Cox is the district internet, and that also is covered by E-rate and the Oklahoma Universal Services Fund. We don't have to pay a dime for internet really, except for at our athletic facility out there. So, but yeah, it's just renewing those every year. So.
And Ms. Forster, am I correct in remembering that we are kind of using Cox for everything, but in the past we may not have used Cox for everything, but that is allowing us to get a better deal as well?
I think some regulations have changed, and we can, at one point we had to call that a non-instructional facility out there. So I think we can call that, since we do teach classes out there, I think we were able to word that differently, correctly, that we can cover that internet out there. So that hopefully that cost will go away as well. But now we're all on the same network. We can get together with Cox and have a more secure network and have a wide area network, so we can get that all the systems we have out there covered under the normal stuff we have up here. So hopefully they'll be better in the long run. So.
Thank you. Motion to approve consent agenda items 5A through 5G.
Second?
Roll call vote.
Jaggers,
Yes.
Wallstad,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes. Next. Oops. Somehow I got there we go. 6, approve the encumbrances for the general fund non-payroll number 634 through 671, $53,471.20. Change orders for general fund $7,563.43, and for the general fund payrolls number 70,000 through 70,673, $13,729,073.99.
So I'll take any questions that you have on the encumbrances.
643, is that an expansion of our program that we currently have in place? We're finding that to be successful, I guess?
Yes, and Ms. Chavez, this is your oh, she's not here. I'll explain for her. She's at parent-teacher conferences.
Okay.
So it's a weapons detection system just like we have in the other areas of the building. This is for the exit office of the elementary.
Yeah.
So that is where there's two parts of this. One part is our upper elementary kids, 4th and 5th grade, enter through that door. But also what happens during the day is we have parent visitors and we have students who show up late, middle school in particular, they go through that door. And so we wanted to have something to scan parents or any visitors that we have come through, and also those middle school students who come in after the bell rings. And so this really kind of completes that part of it. One thing that Ms. Chavez had a great plan for is how to integrate this, because we do have elementary kids going to flow through it. We're actually going to have them go through it without it being on at first, just to get them used to just going between it. But we'll turn it on at 8 o'clock for our visitors and for our middle schoolers. And then, I mean, even just after a couple weeks, we'll then turn it on and let kids just get used to it. So 4th and 5th graders will be used to it before they get to middle school. But the main purpose of it is for our visitors and our middle school students after the bell's rung. So we feel good, but it's the exact same system that we currently use.
Is that outer door or the inner door?
So it'll be actually between in the exit office, you've got the outer door and then the inner door, and it'll be in between there, right in the middle. So as they walk through that exit office, they'll walk through it.
Okay, when they get to the window before they go through it, or?
So it'll be part of kind of the process. So they'll go, and I'm not sure if they're gonna position it more to the left or more to the right, but I would say probably more to the right, so that they, check in, do all this, they get their badge and things like that, and then flow through.
That's, yeah, so
Is
it'd
it
be
outside
closer
or
to
the
the
door?
Closer
other
to the
doors.
inner door, yeah.
Right.
Their inner door? So, there's 2 doors.
Mm-hmm.
Is it on the other side of the second door?
So, so you got kind of a square in that entry.
Right.
It'll be fairly in the middle, but maybe more to the inner door. Yeah.
It'll be just the other side
So
of
you
it.
have to
Just the other side
buzz
of the
somebody,
window.
the door opens, and then you just go through that?
So they would have to go through it before they unlock that door.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, yeah. And they've got a plan too, if they have a purse or something like that that's causing it to go off,
Uh-huh.
rather than having to have somebody go through that door and open it to then check it, we've got that new window that is one way open, it's bulletproof, all those things. So they would actually put that through, it's now in, and then we can check it, and then once it's secure, let them go through. So I think we think we have a pretty good system for that, pretty secure system, but we'll have to experiment with it and make sure that, yeah.
Mr. Jewell, I see 650, we've got Olympia Prep back again.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah. So
20, is it 24 average we're gonna have this year?
I hope so. Golly, we kind of modified it a little bit this year. Talking with teachers, they felt like it was, I don't know, invasive during the school day because we did it during advisory period, or we call brick and mortar. And so they felt like it was taking time out of that period for remediation. And so we decided to do it. Now it's Wednesdays after school and Saturday mornings. So kids sign up, and then we have 2-hour sessions on Wednesday. Sometimes they go to 3, it just depends on how long they're talking. There are specific things they're targeting, so kids can sign up. If I only need science, I can sign up for next Saturday. It's specifically science, and Olympia Prep provides the person. They actually meet in here most of the time on Wednesdays and Saturdays.
No, they're providing it in person.
In person, right here in the library. And so we're hoping to see a bigger growth. It's always hard because ACT it's grade by grade. So next year it's the sophomores. Next year you gotta get the data. It's always a year behind. So we're trying to see if this is a better way to increase our test scores, where kids have to have a little buy-in because it's after school. They gotta wanna be there. And Saturdays are the big ones. We've seen 15, 16 kids come on Saturday morning from 9 to 11, even sometimes 12, and they sit right in here and they work on ICT prep.
I make a motion to approve the encumbrances as presented.
Second?
Roll call vote.
Jaggers,
Yes.
Walston,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes. Item 7, discussion of revisions to board policies EN through FAF.
Very good. So this is another list, just to kind of review, not to approve today. Just draw your attention to some. EN-P is called threat inquiry form. And the thing I'd just like to point out in this is just the forms that come with these policies. We're really enjoying seeing those because a lot of our processes don't have standard forms, and so a lot of times you get into situations and you're trying to search for forms. So this will be very clear for anybody down the road. These are the forms we use. You'll see, like on that one in particular, I use because it asks great questions. What happened here? How did you do this? And so it'll be very clear moving forward for anybody going through a process of investigative process or just something that needs to be filled out. And you'll see that throughout a lot of the things that we have. Another one is FE, and just to let you know, that follows our current transfer policies. So there are some nuanced things that we had in our old policies that we are carrying over. So that looks very much the same as our current transfer policies, which are very important for us, obviously. And then FFA, it's called health students. One thing that I would just let you know is, again, we're not looking to change any policies, and this one did have an optional item as it dealt with lice, and this is viewed very differently at different places you go. There are some places who, even if a student has lice, they keep them in school, and they just tell the parents on the way out the door, hey, you need to get this taken care of. I would tell you that's not our current policy. And so we've matched this policy to our current policy, which is if a student has lice, the parent's notified, they have to take them, get treated, they have to get checked when they come back. The one difference of this policy from our old policy is it also used the language of nits, but nits are a very interesting thing. It's like the little egg cocoons, right? So, but just because a student has nits doesn't mean there's live eggs. And nurses, we had a long conversation about they can determine how long those have been there. Are they high up on the hair follicle or low, which makes a difference. And so that is not in there. It does not say specifically nits, and our current policy does, but they feel like that's not important because they can tell if there's bugs there, and then what we're gonna do is they'll still come and check anyways. And I will tell you from the feedback we get from parents, they prefer this policy over the kids get to stay if they have lice policy. So that's historically what we have found, and that's the only difference there. I don't want to steal Ms. Williams' thunder in her report, but I will tell you, as administrators have worked through this, most of these policies in this particular section, and maybe some more that we'll have next time, our nurses had a lot of say going into that, and we had to talk through a lot of situations and things that they work with and deal with, and so we appreciate their time in this particular month as well. So take any questions if you guys have them, but again, it's just for review in this case.
There was one question I had. I think it was just about, I think it was EpiPens.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was, maybe that's FFACA.
Okay.
When I was looking. I just wanted to make sure, like, do we have those pins, or do the students have to bring those pins? I guess that was the only question I had.
No, that was a big conversation. So with EpiPens, you have a couple different options. One option is that you have students who have allergies and they have an EpiPen. They check it in with the nurses. They have a form for that. They fill it out. Now, if there's an emergency situation, we would administer an EpiPen, or they could administer it themselves. So that's one scenario, and that's typical. Another scenario is that our nurses can get a prescription for EpiPens just to have on hand. The issue that, so you have the option to do that, but if you do that, you have to have a waiver for every single student before you administer that EpiPen, which means every year you're going to be getting 1,700 something waivers to be able to administer that in an emergency situation. On the one hand, the nurses said, of course, if we have a situation, we want to be able to administer that EpiPen, but what we know is by the time we ensure that we have that waiver and then administer that EpiPen with our response time in Bethany, the ambulance is already going to be there and they can administer that if they need to. So every year trying to turn around forms, making sure you have all these waiver forms, we came to a place, and it's an optional either way. We felt like rather than have a policy that says you have to have a waiver and we maybe, make a mistake and in the moment, because we know in the moment you're probably gonna do that, and then if they have a reaction or something to that, now you're in a bad spot. So rather than do that, we opted not to do that, and if that's needed, we would just call an ambulance and get them here, in a quick amount of time, and they could administer if they want to. So that was an optional item. Certainly if you have a different opinion of that, and because we even went back and forth at first, they were like, no, I mean, if there's a situation, we want to be able to administer it. It does require also that you get a prescription, which is a whole nother process.
And keep it current.
And keep it current, and that you keep those on file, and those last about 2 years, and so you would be doing that. So
Yeah.
when we looked at all of that, at first we were saying, yeah, we want to do that. When we looked, and then we considered the response time we get. It just didn't make sense to go through all that and most kids who have allergies like that, they know it and they already have this on file.
Yeah.
So you would be talking about once every maybe 5 to 10 years that you even have the situation. You're doing a lot of things for maybe the one time that it comes up. So, yeah, good question. That was a big topic.
Do we have to do anything on that?
No, just, I was just making sure everybody had their question. If no, we'll move on to staff reports.
I was going to ask Miss Chavez about dressing up as a stink bug.
Yeah, I can speak to her a little bit. I told her I never dressed up as a stink bug, so I was impressed. Her and Miss Kishman both, I think, dressed up as stink bugs and were a part of the part of the play. So it was good.
That's fun.
I just noted on the activities report, obviously, all of our arts programs doing extremely well.
Really well.
Baseball's off to a great start. Basketball's finishing strong.
Yep.
It's a good day to be a Bronco.
Baseball was up 1-0 when I left out there to come here, so it's, yeah, a lot of good stuff going on and a lot of stuff going on.
Lots.
But they're doing well. I mean, we got to go watch orchestra and they were amazing. And band, Dr. Bellows and I both were there and we thought they sounded amazing too. And we wanted to question the judge that gave them a 2, but
Yeah.
we thought maybe we shouldn't, so.
We have a state champion in powerlifting.
We have a state champ powerlifter, yes.
Okay. It's awesome.
I mean, it really is incredible when you just look at it all, and I mean, just so blessed and just it's really, really unique. I would say. There's probably
Sometimes
not
it's hard to
places-
see from the inside, but if you look at it from the outside, we've had state champ volleyball, state runner-up, cheer team, football team semifinals, both basketball teams in the state tournament. Our girls track team won their first track meet, I think, the other day, or yesterday, I guess, Coach, right? I mean, and there's orchestra, sweepstakes winner, so it just, I mean, the list goes on, and just, it's, sometimes you take it for granted, I guess, you know, it's easy to, I suppose, but it takes a lot of effort from a lot of people, you know, to make that happen, so it's impressive.
Yeah, that sign that's on 39th heading west. I know we had a little space and we just filled it up. Do we just add another thing to it? I don't know.
Wait,
I've
yeah.
got a sign sitting in the shop ready to go.
All
right, let's go.
Yeah.
It has the volleyball championship on
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
it.
And the water tower, I know we need to get the water tower out there too.
I've got
They
it
might need to
here.
build a higher water tower, but good stuff.
Esports inaugural season, right? Things are going well there.
Yep.
So I'll tell you too, to the esports, I know that's like an Oklahoma kind of award, but that student competed in a national competition and got second place in the nation.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that's fast. So
That's
so
awesome.
the Oklahoma award's impressive, but to be honest, he's like, and it was a close match actually. We'll say 1 or 2 in the nation in that. He got second, but he was right there, so very impressive.
Do we need an executive?
Unless you guys do, not too much on there this time.
No. Okay.
You have to vote, Mr. President.
Go to,
You have to vote to not go into executive session.
I make a motion to not go into executive session.
second, roll call vote.
Jaggers.
Yes.
Walston.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes. Item 10, discussion, well, oops, it's weird.
Information.
Jumped right out from under me. There we go. 10, discussion of possible board action on the hiring of personnel in addendum A for the 24-25 school year.
Is it appropriate for me to make a motion?
Yeah.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the hiring of personnel in addendum A for the 24-25 school year.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Jaggers.
Yes.
Walston.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes. Go next. Informational items.
All right, got some big dates coming up. Spring break, March 17th to 21st. We're excited to allow everyone to go off and have a nice break before we finish strong here. And then SWAT week, March 31st through April 4th. And I know the students are already getting busy and planning and making signs and doing all the things. So we're excited to see how much they're able to raise for good families and good causes. So.
Board member comments? Superintendent's report.
All right, so I would like to again congratulate our 3 teachers of the year from the building. Great representation, not just for each building, but also if you look at them, they're a great representation of Oklahoma educators across our state and represent some of the finest. Also, again, would like to congratulate both our boys and girls basketball teams on making it to state in the final year that the games will be played at the Big House. And I think that just makes it a little bit more special. This is the first time we've had boys and girls make it in the same year. And what better year to do it is this final games at the Big House. So I know everyone's really excited about that opportunity and looking forward to seeing them play tomorrow. I'd like to thank all the dignitaries who attended our Blue Ribbon ceremony this past week as we celebrate our students at the high school. I know they're very busy with their schedules, and so I just appreciate them taking the time. I appreciate Mr. Jewell reaching out to those people to allow them to come and celebrate with us. Also want to point out that the work that our EL program has done with WIDA testing, that is wrapping up here. It is a lot that goes into it. It's kind of their final testing to see if they exit out. But it's quite the process. And just to highlight the EL program, Ms. Hall, Ms. Espinoza, Ms. Lopez, Ms. Chamberlain, and led by Ms. Graham, worked many hours testing those students and preparing them for those tests as well. But the test itself is a lot to give, so we appreciate their work recently. Last week, we celebrated Maintenance Appreciation Day, and I would like to publicly thank our maintenance staff and operations crew for everything they do each day. I've said this many times, but they have a very proactive approach to preventing problems, and it's just been really, really great to see the improvement of our facilities and the maintaining of our facilities, rather than waiting for major things to happen, and it usually is more expensive that way. And the other thing I would say is there have been some incidents where we have, pipes burst or things like that, and somebody is there on the spot. So I appreciate them always being on call, but things are running really, really well in our facilities and operations, and I appreciate Mr. Mott and his leadership, but the whole team does a great job around him as well. Yeah. And as you all are aware, it's legislative season, and I would say for the representative senators that represent us, they do a great job of listening and taking phone calls and constant communication, and really have seem to be aligned with public education, and so can't say enough about the work that they're doing. And again, just it's nice to feel heard and to really be able to talk details about some of these bills that are out there, make some changes to those bills as they might benefit Bethany Public Schools and public education. So appreciate them and look forward to seeing how some of these bills continue to flow through and hopefully continue to have positive impact on what we do in public education. And then just want to say thank you to all of our teachers. I know middle school, high school already had parent-teacher conferences, and elementary is currently having parent-teacher conferences tonight and Thursday. Appreciate our parents who take the time to sign up and come. I know it was a little bit tricky with some snow days, but our secondary staff made it still possible with being able to do that virtually, and appreciate that. Took a lot of scrambling and work the last minute. But again, want to thank our parents for taking the time to come up, have conversations with us. We want it that way, and we're glad that they still want to come and engage. And sometimes those are really, really important conversations, especially at the end of the year, because we've got some decisions to make as we go through, and sometimes just to celebrate the year their kids having. But one thing I would say about Bethany that is very nice is that we have a lot of parents show up and show that they care and want to know how their kid's doing. So we appreciate that. And then as we go into spring break, just want to wish everyone a safe and restful week, and come back ready to finish strong. And then added this last minute, but congratulations to one of our high school students, Lauren Coons, on being nominated as a Daily Oklahoman Student of the Week. So get out there and vote. Let's help her to get that. Very deserving, as we have a lot of students that are deserving, but I hope she does well, and just an honor for her to be nominated as well. And that's my report.
We are adjourned.
Thank you all. Get the gavel.